I apologize. I'm not starting right this second because I'm trying to calm down enough to get started on this particular topic of conversation. God, you know, stay balling it off my notes. My cat's being a pest. I really hope my mic's working right now. There's a way for me to check. I'm never good at starting these very well. As soon as I do it, am I? As it says in the title, I am not really doing a Mr. Maleficent plays per se. I do apologize for anyone that was looking forward to that. I do plan to get back to that. Okay, and that's just me double checking to make sure my mic is working. But this is more a video about me retorting some things I listened to in an interview with Pete Hines from Greg Miller. I was gonna post the original video in comments when I'm done with this, but when I went to look up the original interview, it was no longer available. I don't know what happened to it. I'm assuming it probably got so many downvotes or so much toxic comments, deserved most of them, probably, that it probably just got shut down by Google because it was just too much. God, I'm trying to think where to begin. I ended up having to go back to a couple other sources to double check some stuff, but I don't know what the entire interview is about, but I'm talking entirely about the stuff that Pete Hines was going on about Fallout 76, the reactions to Fallout 76, and his perceptions to the feedback. It's not even his reasoning for this crap. It is his reaction to the reaction. Because that is always such a good idea. Oh, good lord. I know. You're calling the kettle black right this moment. But, you know, I need to retort. I need to retort because there's so many things that he said or brought up I feel requires I don't know, an insight, wording. I mean, everything I was listening to video, I could retort. And some of it as a gamer, some of it as a business consultant, some of it as just common sense. I don't know if he is just in such high levels of denial that it just
finally someone who looks
seems
like
to not. He just doesn't realize how badly Bethesda has messed up, or he's an idiot. I mean, I don't want to believe he's an idiot, but you know, this is something that has vexed me for what? Year and a half, 2 years. How long has Fallout 76 been out now? And though there's a terminology that was used in Yongya's video, and actually I think Angry Joe brought it up before. I know Jim Sterling's brought it up before. Well, calling Fallout 76 the game that keeps on giving, and not in the way that that Bethesda probably wants to think. But where to begin? First of all, if you don't know who Pete Hines is, he is, and I'm hoping I got this correct. He is the vice president of global marketing and communications at Bethesda. And from what I've seen, he is
Troy's dead.
He is upset that people are calling him a liar. or at least calling Bethesda a liar. But we will get to that. That wasn't the first thing they brought up. When talking about Fallout 76. I had to sit down and do notes to make sure I didn't forget anything that I would listen to. And I also had to make sure that I stay on point and hopefully do not fly into a full rage while talking about this. Because I have gone into two. Once from originally listening to the video, and once while making my notes while listening to it again. I know, I'm giving myself a moment to... I gotta give myself a moment to breathe. Because I don't want to fly off the handle. I really don't. Because I want this to be an informed discussion. Or, well, rant, because I'm the only person in said discussion. But I want this to be informed, and I don't want it to come off that I'm just pissed off for the sake of being pissed off. This comes from, and honestly, a lot of my anger comes from it comes from being completely exasperated with the whole thing, unable to understand their way of thinking at all, and how one company can keep working on such a boneheaded decision that it's just so anti-business for a business. I mean, not to make a pun out of this, but they literally have nuked their own company with this one game. This one game has ruined all of their goodwill, reputation. It has ruined all faith for their company. It's gotten to the point where even I don't know if I even want to get Doom Eternal because they're publishing it, which isn't fair to id Software. I know I can't play Fallout 4 without getting rage anymore, because again, it's just I gotta pause this for a second. Because I can't figure out what they're thinking. I can't. And this interview is not helping. Because this interview is done by a person either so blind to their own faults, in epic levels of denial, or a complete idiot. And I can't quote word from word because, honestly, I don't think I was in enough of a frame of mind to do word for word, but I do have the essential notes. So, where to begin? Well, one of the things they brought up was they believed that both the fans and obviously the studio wanted to do something different. They wanted to try to do share an experience of Bethesda or Fallout or Bethesda of Elder Scrolls or Fallout in a multiplayer way. Now, granted, they do have Elder Scrolls Online. This is a topic that'll be coming up later. But the thing is, yes, people want to be able to share their experiences of Fallout with their friends. I mean, who wouldn't? I wanted to. I had a friend of mine in, I don't remember if it was in Mississippi. Yeah, I think he's still in Mississippi. In Mississippi, I wanted to play Fallout with because I'm like, you know what? I want you to experience the world that I really like. I am a huge Fallout fan. It's a very interesting lore, very interesting, and a lot of interesting stuff to work with here, and I wanted to share it with you and see if you have the same kind of experience with me. That was my original hopes for Fallout 76. Boy, am I glad I didn't buy that game. Because, wow, that was... I mean, there's no way you don't know by now how bad Fallout 76 is. Everyone knows how bad Fallout 76 is, and it hasn't gotten better. Oh, good lord, yeah, see, now I'm starting to go into a new topic, but... Man, I mean, I don't know where to begin with Fallout 76. I'm really hoping I don't lose my voice before I finish my little talk here. But the game was essentially unplayable on release. It was unplayable. It was unusable. The game itself broke servers constantly, and it wasn't because of overuse. It's just that every time you fired off more than one nuke in the world that was originally supposed to be gained in-game through some secret means but they never changed the code. Yeah, I haven't forgotten that one. So, you know, people could find it on Reddit easily. But every time they launched more than one nuke, it burned down the servers. They had to shut them down and repair them every time. It's like, it's kind of astounding. It's like, so your number one feature breaks your game. The big selling point. Oh, good lord. But again, I knew I was going to start going off topic. Bad habit. But yeah, this was something people wanted, but not what you sold them. Because I don't think anybody wanted the crap that they sold. No one wanted that. Okay, so that was the first bit. Oh yeah, this is going to begin this next bit is the start of his comparing it to other things trend. There's, I think, 5 or 6 different things that it's compared to in this interview, and it's astounding. So, okay. So one of the things he brings up is that this is something different. They wanted to try something new. And he compares this to Horizon Zero Dawn, a studio that has never done anything like it did before. And as if it was, and you know, it ended up working. They were trying to do the same thing, but it's not comparable. Because if you're trying to compare Fallout 76 to Horizon Zero Dawn, there's a bit of a difference. Okay, there's a whole hemisphere worth of a difference, but because when Horizon Zero Dawn was released, it wasn't released as unfinished, broken, unplayable garbage. It was perfectly playable from the beginning. I don't even remember hearing any major news sources of any kind. And when I say major, I don't mean mainstream. I mean just a lot of news saying that, oh, there's this huge game-breaking bug that will completely annihilate the game if you do it. Fallout had that. And it wasn't that just the studio was doing something new. But they also took the time to make sure it worked before released. But Fallout 76, they just shoved out the door thinking people were going to eat it up. They did. And then they just kept vomiting it back out. Fallout 76 is not even comparable. Right, again, Horizon Zero Dawn is a single-player experience. It is not online. There is no microtransactions. There is no subscription fee. There is none of the things that are in Fallout 76. They're not even within the same genre. I mean, if I would have compared Horizon Zero Dawn to anything, it might have been vaguely Assassin's Creed, which also is not multiplayer with my... Oh, wait, yes, it is. Okay, the original Assassin's Creed is a better example. Still, it's just that they're not comparable. And you trying to compare it to your dumpster fire of a game to a Game of the Year game, it's kind of insulting to the people behind the Horizon Zero Dawn. They don't want to be drawn into your crap. Don't bring them into this conversation. And this is going to be a running theme in the interview from what I saw and listened to. Oh God, I wish I really had the original to share. Oh, what's next? Oh yes, Pete Hines said. Oh yeah, this is one of the things that threw me off the handle. Pete Hines just says he only watches Fallout 76 videos from people he knows who actually play the game, and anyone that doesn't play the game, he says, are just doing it to bully on Bethesda, doing it for clickbait. They're trying to get attention by making fun of Fallout 76. Let me shoot something for a second. I mean,
Next. Backing him up.
I cannot tell you. Actually, no, I can't. I kind of can't. You can tell by my silence and my breathing, and the fact I have to stop talking about the subject for a second. How insulted I am by that. I admit, I don't do a lot of game news. I don't do any game news videos until now. Because I really don't feel like I can get the subject across as well as others. But that's a personal thing. But when you're calling professionals, yes, I'm using that. You're calling going out just trying to get clickbait using your crappy game because it's popular. Oh, I'm certain there are a few. I'm not saying no one does it, but the idea that you honestly think it's all for clickbait is insulting. It's just downright insulting, and again, shifting blame. You're acting like the game has no problem. It has problems. That's what those videos are there for, to tell the public that there are problems. And the problem is that the problems never end. They never stop. There's like, I swear, ever since the game's release, there was a new thing coming up every week, and sometimes it was stuff that was supposed to have been fixed that ended up breaking again because they used a patch to try to fix something else. This isn't about getting clickbait. It's about informing the public of a serious computer health hazard. I mean, holy crap. I have never seen such a toxic video game. Never. The game is honestly, and I know there's some people out there might have heard me say this, but the game is toxic to Bethesda. But they keep doubling down on it like it's not a problem. It's like saying the Black Plague wasn't happening during the Dark Ages. Oh, they were. And it wasn't witchcraft that was doing it. Mostly rats and poor hygiene. But trying to say people are bullying you doesn't take away the fact that the problem is still there. Where do you think anyone would be getting ammunition from? No one's even does to say anything. All they gotta do is say, hey, there's this update, and look at what it broke. They just have to show the data, and there you go. There is no need for even making fun of it. It makes fun of itself. You guys have created your own worst enemy in the form of this really terrible game.
Get good or get dead, scrubs.
I mean, you cannot be that blind. You cannot honestly think you're just a victim of bullying when you yourselves are the ones that made this piece of crap. I should really go back to again saying that the fact you think everyone's doing this for clickbait is just insulting to any industry, any news outlet out there. And I mean, any YouTuber should be highly offended by that. What's next? Oh, okay, so I just realized something else in my notes for this particular thing. He also stated that he'd rather read Reddit comments because he feels that at least he can get a feedback from there. Like, honestly, you can get a feedback from those videos too, but they're saying the same thing the Reddit people are, so they're just doing it in a way that makes you don't like. And you know what's different between Reddit and videos? If you are hosting a Reddit page, you could also close that Reddit page. I think they can ignore the problem that way, rather than acknowledge the fact that they messed up badly. Alright, but, okay, so my next note, they talk about Elder Scrolls Online and its rough start. I honestly forgot it was even a game for a while until I started seeing ads again. But obviously it's still going strong enough to warrant its what? Third or fourth expansion now? I think it's on a third. So, you know what? Fully. I mean, it may not have been the greatest MMORPG experience ever, but it wasn't the worst. I think it's one thing to mention is that ESO was not the worst. And it did get better, which is a trend that really should not be encouraged. But again, ESO was okay. And a lot of people complained about it. Didn't go on for very long because its problems weren't nearly as severe. Being attacked by a small skag. Okay, but yeah, they're talking about Elder Scrolls rough start. But the thing that needled me though is that what they say is, yeah, ESO had a rough start, but then Fallout 76 came around and everyone wanted to keep ragging on it because it was fun. Because no, I do believe their words were, "It's Bethesda, and it will be fun to keep ragging on them because it's Bethesda." No, I don't believe. This goes back to what I said earlier. It's not because you're Bethesda. It's because this game is terrible. It's because Fallout 6 keeps coming out with new and more broken things. It comes with characters that won't work. It comes with enemies that don't work. Quests that don't work. It comes with, like, bosses that just vanish. There's helicopters that will appear out of nowhere and then disappear all over again. I mean, the list goes on and on because there's something new constantly. People aren't ragging on it because it's fun. They're ragging on it because you keep coming out with problems. Maybe, just maybe, I'm just spitballing here, but maybe if you actually have a patch that worked and didn't constantly break the game, you wouldn't be having this problem. You cannot honestly think that people are ragging on it because they find it fun. Because I find it boring. I think anyone would find it boring. And it's just upsetting that this keeps happening over and over and over again. It's not because you're Bethesda. It's because your product is terrible. And how you've gone about this product is worse. Isn't the people bullying you? This is all you, Bethesda. This is all you, Pete Hines. This is all you, Tom... No, wait, no. Shoot. The president. I can't think of his name. Oh, and I just had it in my head. Lord. This is on you guys. There wouldn't be any ammunition to keep eroding away your good reputation if you guys didn't keep ruining yourselves by doubling down on this terrible product. Then again, he goes on saying bloggers and YouTubers are saying whatever it will take to get views. Because, again, making fun of Fallout 76 is popular. We've already discussed this. No, it's because your game is broken and you keep breaking it worse. You have yet to have actually fixed this game. To my knowledge, the game is still unplayable. And I do believe we're getting to... Oh, yes, my next note. And the funny thing is, it's not Pete Hines that says it. It's Greg Miller saying that as soon as Fallout First was announced, Greg Miller was acting like, oh, now it's time to take a shit on Fallout First because it's fun. FYI, Greg Miller, screw you. No one predicted Fallout First to be a good idea. At all. Except maybe Bethesda. You want to know why? You want to know why I pissed on Fallout First? It might have something to do the fact they were asking $100 a year. $100 a year for a game that was worth less than $20. I wasn't going to pay full... I don't own the game, but if I was going to buy it, I wasn't paying full price to begin with. And now you're asking me for double its original price? Yeah, my reaction would have been to say, fuck you. You guys were asking $100 a year for a game that when you released Fallout First still wasn't working. It still wasn't working. $100 a year. Well, what did you get for that $100 a year? You got an NCP Ranger armor. You got a private server, and that's going to be coming up in a minute. You got the stash box, which is something everyone in that game, I know for a fact, was asking for, but not behind a paywall. Oh, FYI, the stash box ate your items and didn't work on release. So, good job, Bethesda. Way to con those people out of that $100. Oh, you got like 1,600 atoms. And for anyone that doesn't know what an atom is, it's the stuff you use for their online microtransaction store. This is also going to be a topic coming up. And I know you got one other thing, but it is totally slipping my mind right now. For $100, $100 subscription fee for stuff that should have been in the game originally. Again, screw you, Greg Miller, because your attitude was terrible. Your attitude was terrible on that, and you should know it. But granted, I do remember you specifically saying you never played Fallout 76, so you have no right to complain there, to act like there was no problems, because countless sources say there were. And as I'm looking at my notes, Pete Hines was saying it was created for a percentage, for some of the player percentage that was still playing. But he's very vague about it. He's extremely vague about it. Trying to double checking my notes when he mentioned some things. Oh God, that's another thing I'm gonna. But you know, he's very vague on the numbers. He never actually gives a specific number. I would have loved to hear what the numbers actually were. What was the exact what even was the percentage? What percentage of people actually bought it, actually asked for it, and what are the numbers of people that really actually asked for this? Asked for a $100 subscription service to something that should have been there already. And then he goes on to compare, again, here comes another one of those comparisons. He compares Hulu subscription service to the Fallout subscription service. People complaining that, you know, Hulu's only this much, why is it this much? Why is the $100 a year for Fallout first? Pete, I know you're not going to watch this video, but on the miraculous chance you do, I got a bit of advice. Again, don't compare Fallout 76 to other things, especially other things that are nowhere near the mark. Hulu? Really? You're comparing Fallout 76 to Hulu? Hulu has a reason why it's worth what it's worth. Your subscription package offers a stash box that doesn't work, a skin that really has no reason to be behind a paywall. It offers private servers. Private servers! Which also, by the way, didn't work. I remember this. When the private servers were released with Fallout First, people could still get on the private servers. And those were people that weren't invited onto the private servers. You create a game that people can't really use private servers on because you made the system unable to work that way. You know, there are other online games out there that offer private servers for substantially less or for free, depending on what it is. And when you want, oh God, and another thing I think he brings, that's right. Because when I talked about the private server, he went on to talk about the Amazon cloud. He doesn't own that section of Amazon cloud, but he does expect it to be, but he still, but does that make it private? What? What? You don't own Amazon Cloud, so how do you expect it to be private? Well, by those words, we don't own Bethesda servers, so we don't expect to have a private server then. Is that what you're trying to tell us? Is that what you're trying to tell the public? Seriously? Oh God, I'm getting madder and madder as this goes. And when you hear complaints about how much it costs, which is again exorbitant for what it's actually worth, which is nothing, except maybe how much it costs if I have 16,000 or 1,600 atoms. When people complain about the cost, they're like, "Oh, we had to make sure there was a comparable fee to make sure the cost was worth it. It is this premium thing." Dumbass. And that's true for all of these online games. All of these microtransactions, all of the loot boxes, all these prices are set by the companies that are selling them. There is no standard. You are making that up as you go. I really hope someone listens to this and understands this. This is not a comparable price point in anything else because the companies themselves make up how much it's actually worth. And again, comparing it to Amazon Cloud or Hulu Plus, again, Pete, Pete, I'm begging you, man. Don't compare your game to other better services. Because it's only going to reflect how bad yours is. You really... Calming down. I'm calming down. Oh, man. It is again, this whole interview just infuriated me as I listened to it. Okay. Okay, calming down. But again, don't compare your shit product to a better one. All right, don't. You're just emphasizing how bad yours is. I mean, what is that? Our fourth thing you've had a comparison with now? Granted, one was actually your products. But, so, we have gotten a comparison with Horizon Zero Dawn. We've gotten a comparison with Elder Scrolls Online, Amazon Cloud, and Hulu Plus. This really is an ongoing theme in this interview. He keeps bringing up other better services. Oh, here we go. This note I have here, and this is the one almost took it all from me. He resents him and his company being called liars for people pointing out the fact that they did lie. I am not even pretending to say it was a possibility they didn't. No, they lied about their product. They lied about their services. This is not supposition. This is fact. They lied. You don't like being called a liar, Pete? Then maybe you shouldn't be lying to people. Or if you don't think you were lying to people, maybe you should fire the people that you were lying to people. Oh, right, that was you and Todd.
You think there's only two
Todd.
bands in the whole universe?
My gosh, I keep saying Tom.
So Pandora is the Great Vault. Necrotafeo is real.
Guys.
And Hyphen de Leon is alive. My brain is about to explode like 1,000 red giants.
I mean...
How about yours? We can't stop now. There's too much to do.
Hell? Oh. Sorry. Blocked my chain of thought. They don't like being called liars. And what's worse is the example he uses. And... again, I feel like he doesn't exist in the same world we do. At least not in his head. Because the example he uses, like... he's like, he goes to one of these other business partners and says, hey, I'm going to take the fun group over to Chuck E. Cheese, like at such and such date. And then I get the flu, and, you know, they're a little sad about, not being able to go to Chuck E. Cheese, but, you know, it's because I have the flu. I mean, does that make me a liar? I'm like, bitch, that's not even the same thing. That's not even close to the same thing.
Glad to have so many badasses on the side. Am I waiting for something?
And now we have Chuck E. Cheese on the board, too. That is the fifth thing he's brought up in comparison to this whole situation. Chuck E. fucking Cheese. Man, you know, his kids must hate him if this is his idea of if he compares being a liar with just, you know, with inconvenient moments.
One down, one to go.
But
Mind if I practice my small
you want to know what
talk?
here's the difference, and there's quite a bit of differences. There's nothing here nothing he said really connects, because what did Bethesda lie about? It lied about a few things. One of the things was all their microtransactions were going to be cosmetic only. Then what the fuck is Fallout first? Yeah, and that's not just that.
Am I waiting for something? I forget.
They dropped their cosmetic-only promise, and it wasn't because shit changed down the road.
Troy's dead.
It's because...
One down, one to go.
And, actually, no, it is because things changed. But the problem is, they didn't tell anyone that things changed.
So,
At least your Chuck E. Cheese flu example, again, terrible, you gave a reason why you couldn't go. You haven't given us a reason of why you're doing anything with Fallout 76. That's one of the reasons I am beyond enraged with you guys. I have yet to hear one reason why you're still supporting this game, because by all intents and purposes, you should have dropped this thing a long time ago, burned it and sailed away, because this thing has completely destroyed your reputation. If any other company, if this was any other company that wasn't a game company, if this was any company with common sense, they would have dropped this like a bad habit. They would have dropped this shit quick, because you would not want to be associated with something that's going to drag your company into the mud. That's just common sense. It's not exactly ethical. It's not exactly the most moral thing to do. But if it's between that thing and your company, you're usually going to choose your company. And the fact they are holding on tightly to this terrible product just baffles me. They never gave us a reason why they decided Fallout First was a good idea. They never gave us a reason why NPCs weren't in the game. You never gave us a reason why anything you're doing with this game makes any sense. You never gave us a reason why you went back on your promise of cosmetics. Oh, and let's not forget, and I was glad someone reminded me of this, let's not forget the canvas bag situation.
One time Maya grounded me for 2 weeks after I stole a monk's glass.
Oh, I cannot believe I forgot about this, and I shouldn't have. The canvas bag for premium edition pre-orders. It wasn't canvas.
Glad to have so many badasses on our side.
But they marketed it as canvas. They told the public it was canvas. They told them it was this high quality bag you could get for whatever amount of money you're pre-ordering with. What did they get? Nylon piece of shit. There was no way anyone misheard you on this.
Troy's dead.
There was no misinterpretation, because all of your images, and I wish I could bring up images to the screen right now, every bit of marketing material you had for this pre-order was for a different kind of bag than what you actually gave people.
Am I?
You don't like being called a liar? Well, maybe you shouldn't lie.
One down.
Maybe you shouldn't be pulling a bait and switch, which, again, I have to keep pointing out is illegal.
I think I still have it somewhere.
There's a reason people get sued over this crap. It's because it's illegal. You can't keep doing this and keep expecting to get away. Another great example, the refund system is garbage. You can't refund this crap. You can't refund Fallout 76. You can't refund Fallout First if it's not what you thought it was going to be. You can't refund any of that stuff because Bethesda won't let you.
But this is cool
The
too,
only
right?
people that ever got a refund for this pile of junk was Australia, because their government stepped in and said, no, this is our laws. You follow them. You cannot do business here and not follow the law.
Troy's dead. One down, one to go.
It infuriates me that people keep thinking they can get away with this crap. They can't. It does eventually come back and will bring them down. It's inevitable. You can't keep running forever. And Bethesda keeps running from the idea that their game is absolute garbage. He gets, and again, I can't get past this. He whines that we call him a liar. Well, again, it's called, dude, we are calling it as we see it. You have lied to us. From the start with Fallout 76, you have lied to us. 12 times the detail. Bullshit. We all know it's an asset flip. It's not hard to figure out. Some of the recent hacks where they brought in NPCs from Fallout 4, which shouldn't have been in the game, but guess what? They were, because again, it was an asset flip. Oh. I am really trying very hard not to completely lose it. Because the guy, Pete, I have no faith in you from this interview. Pete Hines, I have no faith in you at all. This interview with you told me that you are a lying, despicable piece of shit. I'm sorry. You don't treat others with respect. You have no respect for consumer. Oh, and that reminds me. Where was this? I must have skipped it. ESO, YouTubers. I feel like I might have skipped the part. And my cat's trying to be a pest. Oh, where was it? Shoot, I don't remember where it was. I think I remember what it was. I swear I wrote this down. Where did it go? Comparing prices, percentage. Oh, right. The Fallout first. I completely forgot about this bit. I must have skipped it in my notes. And again, Pete, this show's so great on you. Greg asked him about, if they thought Fallout First was gonna be well received and in the condition it launched in, and they said probably not. But they sent it out anyways. They didn't care. They didn't care. They just wanted your money. If you don't give a shit about your product, why should we? Pete, why should we care about your product if you don't give a damn about it? Simple question. If you don't care, why should we? You knew it wasn't working correctly on release, but you released it anyways. You and the AAA game industry really do have this idea of selling crap and then hoping you can fix it later. That's not how selling a product works. And I've talked to quite a few business people with my Uber job. That's not how you release a product. You make sure the product works, because if it doesn't, it does reflect badly on your company, and lawsuits can happen. I do believe they kind of did once already for you guys in Australia. I wonder how much longer it's going to take till that particular chicken comes to roost. Let's see. I only have one other note. Oh yeah, he's hindsight 2020. Saying hindsight told them that they probably should have delayed Fallout 76 like they did for Doom Eternal. In hindsight, but I know I feel bad that I'm not actually playing anything while I'm talking. it makes the video kind of boring. But figures. You didn't know at the time that Fallout 76 was in the terrible condition it was in before you released it. You didn't know. Not at all. Not a clue. Bullshit. I call bullshit. There is no way. There is not a single way, if you did any sort of alpha test, beta test, quality assurance tests, if you did any of this stuff, there is no way in hell you should not have known that this was in an unplayable state. There's no way you did not know. There is no way you couldn't have known unless you didn't do any testing and you just sent it out the door and practically had the public do it for you. And they paid you. Yeah. Bullshit. There is no way you did not know. There's no way. This isn't like some bugs that get missed. There's not like this is one of those 1 in 1,000 bugs that could break a game if under very specific circumstances. This was not this case. Everything in that game was broken. Everything was. There's no way you couldn't have known. Or at least either that or no one told you, which again, that's kind of frightening. That there's so much miscommunication in your company. So either your company's so incompetent or afraid of itself that no one's talking to each other, or you guys knew and didn't care, or you guys don't have a QA department anymore and was hoping for the best. None of those look good on you. Not one. None of a single thing. There's no way you couldn't have known.
So you've returned.
I mean, it doesn't require a programmer to have figured out that this crap was broken.
Are you so desperate to prove yourself?
I mean, I think people found serious bugs after like 10 minutes or less.
Who the junk are you? You're out of here, baby pig.
It's not possible that you guys could not have known. And if you didn't, then you guys are far more incompetent than I have ever imagined. I mean, you guys definitely got some free passes from people with all of your most recent games and your bugs, and the community fixing a lot of your bugs for you. But, you know, you can't keep doing that anymore. Because, obviously, people kind of figure out quickly where you stop giving a shit. And this game was it. You guys don't care. You don't. If you did, you would never have released this thing in its state. And you're still trying to find ways to fix it. It's still unplayable in places. What the? Now you're hoping this Wastelander DLC will help it? Like you didn't know people would have liked to have actually had NPCs in a Fallout game? Oh my god. Do you not know your own products? Give me a second. This is how exasperated I am. I honestly feel like the way I did after coming out of my brother's review for, what was it, Transformers, it wasn't the last night, the one before that. I think it was Age of Extinction, where I was so pissed off that I stopped caring. It wasn't even funny to make fun of anymore. It wasn't funny to begin with, but it just got worse. And now with this, I'm going to be honest, I don't think people want to make fun of it anymore. I think a lot of people rather just stop seeing stupid crap about this game come up. But you keep making more and more mistakes. And you don't give any reason of why they are there. You have yet to adequately explain yourself. And you spend this entire video trying to shift comparisons to, by the time I finish my notes, we had Horizon Zero Dawn. We had Elder Scrolls Online. We had Amazon Cloud, Hulu Plus, Chuck E. Cheese, and Doom Eternal. Wow, talk about unwilling to own up to your own actions. And here's the part I wanted to get to. Here's the part I really want to get to, and this doesn't have to do with the interview exactly. This is me as a business consultant, as someone who has a bachelor's of science in business, looking at you right now. I know you're probably not watching the video anyways, but Pete, I'm looking at you now, and I'm going to give you some serious business advice. Because I don't want to see Bethesda fail. I love Fallout. Not as big on Elder Scrolls. I don't know why, just not. But I don't want to see Fallout fail. I don't want to see id Software go. I don't want to see this stuff completely fall apart. We criticize because we care. And I'm going to give you some real sound business advice to try and help your company. Because honestly, you guys can't do it yourselves. You're making it worse. So here's some free advice. Shut down Fallout 76. Burn your bridges with that game. You're going to have to. Unless somehow Wastelanders miraculously works and you release it for free. You heard me. Release it for free. Unless it miraculously does not completely overload and destroy your servers, which I personally believe will happen. Shut down Fallout 76 and sever all ties with it. Sever all ties with Fallout 76 because it is the most toxic product you have ever made. I have never seen one product destroy an entire company's lifetime worth of reputation, goodwill, and just its connection to the audience. You've lost your consumers over this stuff. For what? Short-term gains? And this is a common theme, not just with you, with a lot of AAA publishers. You guys focus so much on the short term that you're going to take a huge long-term loss. This isn't just guesswork. It's inevitable. I may not have your accounting figures in front of me. I don't think I need it. You have to cut ties with Fallout 76 and then start building that goodwill back. You need that goodwill back because without it, your company's going to fall apart. No one trusts you. You've already made a debacle with this and somewhat with, Wolfenstein Youngblood. I haven't delved in deep in that one, but I have not heard good things. You have to cut ties with Fallout 76. You have to stop doubling down on it. It's not going to turn a profit. It's just not. And with government regulation on the horizon, with the whole loot box debacle, and it is, It may not be until another decade, but it's coming. Because EA is kind of ruining it for everybody. Electronic Arts is another one that needs a serious talk to. But Bethesda, Todd, Pete, guys, I beg you to shut down Fallout 76, cut ties with it, and just go back to what you were good at. You really wanted to try something different. It was an experiment that failed. It happens. But trying to keep hanging on desperately to a toxic product is only going to make it worse. That really is the best advice I can give you. I'm sorry you've wasted this much money and this much time on it. But there's no other way. You have to cut ties. You have to focus on the next Elder Scrolls, the next real Fallout. Focus on id Software stuff. Let them do what they do best. But it may be another decade until you guys are ready for another experiment like this. At least ESO's doing well enough. You guys don't need all the money on the planet. No one needs that. Contrary to what your minds might be thinking, no one needs all the money on the planet. You're never going to get it. And it's not sustainable. That's the key point I need to keep trying to get across, you people. What you're doing is not sustainable. You have to think long term. And you're not. You're so focused on this nightmare of a project that you're losing sight of what's down the road. And if you don't stop, you're going to lose Bethesda. I don't know if you'll go completely under or get bought out, but you can't keep digging all your time and money on this thing. No one is going to want it. And honestly, if you're not going to send out Wastelanders for free, who wants to buy it? Besides those hardcore enough wanting to. Those same people that bought Fallout first, which was a terrible decision on their part. So there you go. That is your free consulting advice for tonight. It's not even that complicated. Why can't you see it? I honestly want you to tell me why. Tell the consumers why you are so desperately trying to keep this going. Because it's not helping you. It's not helping them. It's definitely not helping them. Why would they care at this point if you don't? That's all I gotta say. Alright. And for everyone else watching this video, which is probably like maybe one person, probably just me, thank you for sitting through my overly long rant. That's all I had on the interview. I wish I had the rest of it. I don't know why the video was taken down, but it was. So, have a good night, everybody. Tomorrow.